Ukraine above all, death to our enemies. The Azov movement holding a protest march outside the Justice Building in Kiev, calling for the dismissal of corrupt judges. Among the protesters is 24-year-old Lida Piatsela, who joined Azov relatively recently. She was attracted by the movement's aggressive stance in its fight for political goals. Lida is from Donetsk but fled to Kiev when the war broke out in 2014. She had a patriotic upbringing and was first introduced to Azov while at a youth vacation camp.
I was working with children at a festival. It was run jointly by the government and Azov.
And now Lida works for Azov in their youth activities department. Azov was founded in the spring of 2014 after conflict erupted in the Donbas region. With the regular army soon outgunned by the pro-Russian separatists, volunteer militias formed in support. Azov came to prominence after taking back the port city of Mariupol from pro-Russian forces. Since then, its members have enjoyed a reputation as tough fighters, with ultra-right affiliations. Lida hears from a colleague that a new batch of recruits will be beginning training today. The chants glorify their race and celebrate the call of blood. The new arrivals go through their first exercise drills on this training ground in Kiev. Azov has a fighting force of around 1,500 men. The battalion has since been incorporated into the Ukrainian National Guard, and as such takes orders from the Interior Ministry. At Azov HQ, fascist symbols also previously used by the Nazis, such as the black sun, are everywhere you look. Lida isn't bothered, insisting the icons are actually a lot older.
Where did they get those symbols from in the 1940s? They weren't all new. Sometimes it's easier to adopt something that already exists.
An exercise in being economical with the truth. The founder of Azov likewise vehemently denies that his organization has far-right tendencies.
To the left-wingers and liberals in the West, just having basic conservative values is enough to be classified as a Nazi. To be honest, I don't really care what my enemies call me.
Enemies is also how he sums up the entire political establishment in Ukraine. Azov has also founded its own party, officially distinct from the battalion. Right-wing parties and groups marching to the parliament building in the capital to vent their anger at the government. Azov's founder is the undisputed leader of the movement. Azov intends to unite all right-wing elements in the country, regardless of how extreme. And in parliament, which he was elected to in 2014, Bieletsky has threatened other parties.
We will summon up the courage, strength, and determination to dissolve this parliament. Take my word for it. We have gathered here to begin the fight for power.
Political scientist Andreas Umland has been following the rise of the neo-Nazi scene in Ukraine. A coup by ultra-right militias, he says, is not currently a threat.
Some of these groups have retained their earlier far-right symbolism and probably their ideas too, and that is a problem. If and when peace should return, it should be possible to change that.
But by then, the militant right may well have seen their ranks swell. Lida organizes holiday camps for children and teenagers, where they're also exposed to far-right literature.
The 10 rules of Ukrainian nationalists focus on Ukraine, spirit, and brotherhood. The 12 characteristics of a Ukrainian.
Among them, bravery, a healthy lifestyle, discipline, and hatred of enemies. The Azov movement's principles appeal to young women and men alike with an interest in working out and fighting for their country. Fertile breeding ground for the Azov leadership and its radical political goals.